Hey friends, I am saying hey, me and Buster, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, thinking that I have really been missing talking to my friends and the people that I see all the days, and I know you all are all feeling the same way, and just been really feeling like a nagging in my heart like every day for the last like week or so to just do this. So I'm gonna try and do this. For those of you who know me, this is not like my comfort zone here with video and cameras and things, hence the dog on my lap because that helps a lot. And but still I thought I would give it a shot. One of the reasons is because as I've been going for walks, as most of us have been doing as often as we can, there's been some things that I feel like I've been shown that I've been looking at a little harder and closer than I normally would. Maybe normally I would walk by or see something and think it's nice or take a picture of it and maybe not think about it again, but I've been kind of poked and prodded to think about some of these things a little more. So I thought I would just maybe spend a few minutes sharing some of those thoughts. So one of the things that I wanted to share was from my walk like a week and a half ago, and I've been seriously thinking about this since then. Spending all my time since then trying to avoid doing this by like doing weirdo things like making my bed and like painting baseboards and things like that matter, and I'm glad I'm doing them, but also don't matter at all, and avoiding this conversation, which I think might matter. It matters to me, and I'm super grateful to have been spending enough time thinking about this for the last week or so. It's been good for me. So on this walk, we walk, the dog and I, through usually like around whatever, and then we come through our new condo sort of property that has a really pretty pond in the middle of it. It's lovely, little fountain, and in the evening there's these two ducks, and they are adorable, and they're clearly a married couple who are crazy about each other, or so I will believe. And I haven't named them yet, which is weird for me. Like that would be a thing I would do, but I haven't done that yet. So if you have any ideas on names for these two ducks, please let me know. But every time I go by, they're doing one of two things. The first thing they are usually doing is there's a big rock in the middle of the pond, and the girl duck is standing on top of the rock, and her partner is swimming right at the water below the rock. He doesn't move from there when she's on top of the rock. And the other thing that they are doing, if they're not doing that, is she is in front and they're slowly swimming. I guess she's looking. I'm not going to pretend I know about ducks. I assume she's like looking for food, and he is right behind her, shadowing every move that she makes. And I just felt like I was meant to stop. I've taken a bunch of pictures of them because I think they're just adorable, but I was just meant to stop and think about that a little more than just the cuteness of the duckiness. And so what those thoughts in me, that God has been trying to like push and stir at, in and amongst all of this stuff that we are all dealing with, is these roles that we have, these jobs that we have. And it just made me feel like this girl duck, again, without any knowledge of actual ducks, when she's on the rock, she's like really vigilant, and she's looking around, and she's taking like a survey of the space they're in. And he is watching out for her while she does that. It makes me kind of emotional, which is lovely. Her job is that one thing, and his job is that other thing. And then when they're swimming around looking for food, same thing, like she's like the sharp eye looking for what they need, and he is paying attention to the bigger picture, making sure that she's safe while she does that. And as these days have gone on and I've thought more about that, I've just really thought about what are we doing when we're all doing this thing we're doing now, this new role that so many of us have. Some of us are like working twice as hard and twice as much at the jobs we're doing because we have these essential jobs that are putting ourselves out there and risking our lives and really like doing huge services in big ways for people. And maybe we didn't expect that. Then there's also those of us who've had to stop working. I'm in that category, and we're just home, and that is new, and we're used to being so scheduled and so busy, and now we have this new role. So maybe some of us are painting baseboards and making our beds like weirdos, and maybe some of us are like cooking more. I see so much like amazing bread baking and things happening, and maybe some of us are we're not doing any of that, and we're just on our couch because that feels safe and it feels possible. So I guess what I was just thinking about the most is that these ducks kind of were such an example of the fact that we all do have a job to do. And for some of us, those jobs look like maybe they aren't important or necessary, and maybe they're making us feel less than or useless. And the encouragement that I got, and let's be clear, like none of this is solutions or answers or strategies or any of that. This is just me taking a look at some ducks and wanting to share that. But I just really felt strongly that in these new roles, we are needing to really validate that some of our roles that look very different from what we're used to are incredibly important. Maybe we have people that we're taking care of in ways that like we have never taken care of them before. Maybe you're making calls that you would not normally make. I make phone calls now. I hate talking on the phone. I hate it. Like almost as much as I hate talking into a camera. But I make phone calls now because it feels like there's just people that come to my heart, and if I don't phone them, it just doesn't feel like I'm doing the right thing. And maybe you're on your own right now. My parents are each individually on their own right now, and it's not easy, but it's this job you've been given, this self-care job, this job of being the best you can for your own self. And there is this, I gotta walk and get stuff because I forgot to get things. There's this passage of scripture that talks about this, and I just wanted to read it because it's also a part of the Bible that I think is really cool. It's 1 Corinthians 12. And it's talking about, technically it's talking about like how the church as a whole is supposed to act. For those of us who go to church, we know that that's hard, but it's also really just talking about like healthy communities. So I'm going to read that bit. Now the body is not made up of one part, but of many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for this reason cease to be part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason cease to be part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has arranged the parts of the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. If they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I don't need you. On the contrary, these parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable we treat with special honor. The parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while our presentable parts need no special treatment. God combined the members of the body and has given greater honor to the parts that lacked it, so there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. I love that. So as we spend our time doing these jobs in our homes or at our workplaces or with our families or on our own, rally yourself each day and know you have a job. It's so important. You are taking care, by staying home, you're taking care of people that are weaker than you. These seniors and these immunodeficient friends of ours who need you to stay home. You're doing that. That is a big job because it isn't easy to just stay home. And if you're out in this world doing this essential job and you're working so hard, hear the gratitude from everyone. Thank you for doing those things. Keep doing it. It's important what you're doing. And if you are really just trying to take care of yourself and figure out how to manage this and figure out how to not be scared, that is a job and you're doing a great job. And in those moments, just know that I love you and praying for you, and am right here and available if anyone wants to talk about any of those parts of the jobs you're doing. If they're hard or if you're having a really good time, that's great. I'm finding I'm having a really good time doing some things that I wouldn't normally do. And so that's all. I hope that, that was a long time, I'm sorry. But yeah, there's a couple other things that I've been paying attention to on these walks that I might share at another point, but that's all for today. I truly love you, friends. Miss hugging your necks. Can't wait until I can sit across the coffee table from you and for really talk about all this stuff. All right, bye.